Alright guys, so before we get into this video, I do want to give a huge shout out to all the Zed creators and George for putting this together. So Ross Carlos, Justin Copeland, and then Andrea Charles, and obviously George Zaharoff. Thank you guys seriously so much for all the time and energy you put into this. The blood, sweat, and tears that went into this really pays off, and it's really starting to show. You know, all of these fragrances, from what I've seen, have been just an enormous hit throughout the fragrance community. I've seen nothing but positive feedback on this, and so I just wanted to congratulate you guys seriously for a job well done. It does not go unnoticed. You know, I saw several of the live stream videos on Instagram that George put up, and you guys were just working your butts off and, you know, happy to do it. You can really tell that your passion and love went into this. So at least from the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys seriously so much, and I'm just, you know, super honored to have these in my collection. So let's go ahead and get into the video. What's up, fragrant family? This is Tyler with Simply Fragrances, and today I got me a special package. If y'all want to find out what it is, be sure and keep it right here. Alright guys, welcome back. Like I said, I did get a special package today. Super excited to bring this to you guys. Obviously from the title, you already knew what it was, but I'm super excited to bring this to you guys. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and hit the red subscribe button. Really do appreciate that. Give the video a thumbs up and we'll get rolling. If this is your first time viewing this channel, I do appreciate your viewership, and I do appreciate you taking some time out of your day to spend with me. That really does mean a lot. If you've already been subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for all the love and support that you have shown the channel. Whether it's been a day or almost a year, I do appreciate that. So yeah guys, actually quick update. We're just past 6:30, so I mean we're keeping on. So I do appreciate that. So guys, as you can tell from the title, today I got my Zaharoff Zed Creator fragrances in. So I'm not going to do them all at once because I want to give each and every single one of them a fair and honest you know, review. And I think that if I try and do them all at once, that it wouldn't be as real, it wouldn't be as special, if you will. And so I'm going to pick one to go to today, and that's going to be Ross's. I'm going to review Business Over Pleasure. So really excited about that. So let's go ahead and get into this. So as you guys can tell, I'll show you just real quick because I'm super excited about this. I did get all three of the Zed Creative fragrances in. So, but like I said, today we're going to be doing Business Over Pleasure from Ross at TLTG Reviews. So all of the fragrances come wrapped in this beautiful wrapping paper. And then here is the box, still wrapped in cellophane. So go ahead and get that opened up here. And guys, if you haven't got yours, I definitely would. These are limited edition, and once they're out, they are out. They are not making any more. So this is a once in a lifetime deal. So definitely don't be hesitating on getting your packages in. So if I can get this open, and this thing is wrapped really well. There we go. Never done a full unboxing like that, throw that away. But here is the box presentation of Business Over Pleasure. As you can tell, you have Mr. George Zaharoff up there, and then flip it upside down and you have a Mr. Ross Carlos. So what this kind of signifies is business over pleasure. So you have George Zaharoff being the business side of things, and then you have the more laid back Ross Carlos as the pleasure side of things. But what's cool about Ross, he's a good friend of mine, so I'm gonna try not to be too biased on this, but he wanted to kind of indicate that in his life he's not really afraid to take risk. He knows when to have business, and he knows when to have pleasure. And so in order to do that, you have to take risk, and you have to, you know, kind of take risk on life. And so this is kind of symbolic of that. Is, you know, whenever it's time for business, it's time for business, but whenever it's time for pleasure, you know how to have fun with it. So go ahead and got this beautiful presentation. It's symbolic of a card. I believe, after talking with Ross, that it was George that kind of came up with the idea of a playing card, and I think it turned out super awesome. So on the sides here, you do have the little club, spades, hearts, and then diamond signifying the different suits of the card, and then you have the different colors representing the different Zed creator fragrances. And then you have the blue Zaharoff Z. It's blue because that's Ross's, and then on top you do have the Zaharoff Z. On bottom you do have a little bit of information about his fragrance, and you do have the shelf life, so really awesome there. Open it up, and then you do have the fragrance that sits inside there. So that was the box presentation. Be sure to stick around for the first impression. All right, guys, we are almost time for the first impression, but I do want to go with the bottle presentation. So let's go ahead and stick around for this real quick. So this is the bottle presentation, and this is actually very, very, very nice. So you do have the Zaharoff name right there with the Zaharoff Z, and this kind of almost not quite baby blue, but it's not a super dark blue either, but just this blue Zaharoff Z. And you have TLTG reviews for Ross's channel, and then flip it over on the back, and I love this. So you do have the business over pleasure, Mr. George Zaharoff, and then Ross Carlos on the bottom in this kind of silverish matte white finish on there. Indication, love that. Super, super awesome. You do have the blue Zaharoff cap, the Zaharoff Z, and then on the bottom it just says Zaharoff. Overall, very, very, very nice presentation. Love this stuff, and you know, they all come in these Zaharoff signature bottles. But love this presentation. Really excited to get into the fragrance. All right, guys, so it's that time. About to get into the fragrance, but real quick, I do want to mention, just because Ross is a friend of mine doesn't mean that I'm going to be, you know, just giving him, you know, just an easy review or anything like that. You know, like I said, he is a good buddy of mine, but I'm going to be honest on my review, and I'm going to give you my, you know, full thoughts on it. So I'm going to do a first impression, and then I'm going to come back just in a couple hours and kind of give you my full final thoughts on this. So I do know some of the notes, but I'm not going to look up the notes just yet. I'm just going to spray it on my hand, see what I get, and if I can pick up anything on that. So really excited for this. So put the cap down, give this a good old spray, hold my breath, put the cap back on, there we go. All right, let's see what we got. Whoa, okay, so a lot more hefty than I thought. Not in a bad way, but it's got a depth that I wasn't quite expecting. So off the initial blast, it actually kind of does resemble some of the Zaharoff signature Pour Homme just a little bit. It not really quite barbershop fougere like, but it does have kind of a gentleman style to it, while at the same time it does have this beautiful freshness, beautiful fresh iris that comes out of here. Man, and like I said, I'm not looking at the notes yet. I'm gonna look them up at the review, but man, there's a lot of citrus in the top, and I really do enjoy that. So I was not expecting this. I really honestly didn't quite. I mean, I knew kind of what to expect just by different reviews and stuff like that, but I didn't expect the depth that this has in the opening. That kind of took me off guard, and it's beautiful. It's got this powdery iris in there with some citruses. This is really, really good, like really good. Man, okay, so in a way, this kind of reminds me of like if you took Prada L'Homme and then you took Zaharoff Pour Homme signature and kind of mixed those together, but then you added some citrus notes in there. But this is really, really good. Kind of getting that woody tones in there. I'm pretty sure there's guaiac wood in here, and that's really kind of coming out. At least off my skin it is. It does have a woody tone to it. Overall, this is really good. So kind of powdery, fresh, citrusy iris with a little bit of a gentleman quality there. I wasn't really expecting that, and maybe it could just be my skin. Who knows? Fragrances do different things on people's different people's skin. So you know, maybe I'm the only one that's, you know, kind of got this, but at least off initial first spray, I was getting kind of a gentleman fougere like quality to it. Now it's not so much. It is kind of taming down, and you really just get this beautiful, beautiful, fresh, powdery iris with this citrus tone. Man, this is good stuff. Wow, great first impression. Okay, so that's gonna be my first impression. Stick around, it'll be a couple hours for me. It'll only be instantaneously for you. So I'm gonna give you my full thoughts on this just here in a second. Overall first impression, beautiful. Love this stuff. All right, guys, welcome back. For me, it's been a couple hours. For you, obviously, instantaneously. But I've given this a couple hours to wear, and I feel like I've got a good understanding of this fragrance. So let's go ahead and I'll get into some of the notes on here. So, not some of them, I'm just gonna read them off from the card here. So, the notes for business over pleasure. Top notes, you have Szechuan pepper, bergamot, and then coriander. Heart notes, you got lemon verbena, lily of the valley, cashmere wood, Florentine iris, and ginger. And in the bottom notes, you have guaiac wood, looks like Palo Santo, I'm not really too sure what that is, and then tonka, musk, patchouli, and amber. So those are the notes, and my final thoughts on this, guys. Like I said, I'm not going to try and be biased. Ross is a good buddy of mine. This one was actually pretty special for me just because, I talk with Ross on a pretty frequent basis. Actually talked with him just even yesterday. He got a new motorcycle and we were kind of chatting about that. So this one was pretty cool that, to think that a friend of mine was able to create a fragrance of his dreams. That's just super cool. But I'm not gonna let that influence the review. Overall thoughts on this, guys. This is super, super solid. Like, honestly, 100% honest, this is a great fragrance. So is it going to be just a room filler? You're going to be the loudest guy in the room? No, and I don't think that that was the intent of this. So what you're going to get from this, as you open up the fragrance, you're going to get this beautiful citrus note, and then followed by this creamy powdery iris. Now that's kind of the life of the fragrance for at least the first hour or so. At least that's what it was off my skin. And then as it starts to dry down, you do get more of those woody notes, and that amber and musk really kind of start to play into it, and it really gives it a depth, guys, and it's so amazing. So for the first hour and a half, you get that citrus and iris, and then after that it kind of starts to become a little bit more musky, a little bit more woody, and then in the very dry down of it, like I said, hasn't been super long, but I can already kind of start to pick up on that tonka. It does give it kind of a bit of a sweetness towards the end of it. That's just kind of what my nose gets, and that's kind of how it wears on my skin. So even in the dry down, you're still getting that iris and you're still getting that powdery vibe. The citrus really isn't there too much in the dry down, at least off of my skin, and at least off of my experience with this. As it dries down, that powdery iris followed by some woody, musky sweetness to it. So this stuff, guys, honestly, super solid fragrance. Great office fragrance, great date night fragrance, great kind of casual fragrance. Like, it's like right in the middle of, like, you can dress it up like it's meant to be dressed up, or at the same time it's meant for casual wear. I think that it is the perfect, just as it describes, business over pleasure. You can wear it to work, you can wear it for professional means, any kind of work meeting, stuff like that, or you can casually wear it, go run some errands, maybe even have a date night, stuff like that. I think that's the beauty of this fragrance, is it just encapsulates both of those perfectly, honestly. So seasons to wear this, I really do see this being more of like a spring, fall, and winter, at least from where I'm at. So I'll explain that. So spring, fall, and winter, maybe not so much the winter, just because the iris, but anyways, with the summertime, it really depends on where you're at. So here in southern Missouri, in the southern part of the United States, it just gets a little bit too hot and thick and humid to where any kind of thick powdery type of fragrance, especially if there's any kind of woody muskiness to it, just that humidity really makes it feel hot and sticky. Now if you're up more north, like Washington, Oregon, New York, Maine, even I'd say anywhere really above Missouri, I think this could be a great all year round fragrance. So that's kind of the seasons that I would wear this. Now, like I said, occasions, I think that it could really be any occasion. It's pretty much the Swiss Army knife. You can wear it for business, you can wear it for pleasure, you can wear it casually, however you please. The longevity of it, I would say for the first hour to hour and a half, you do get really good solid projection, and then after that, it really does kind of start to set in close to the skin. It's still gonna push out, I'd say a good 3 to 4 inches, but it's not gonna be filling a room, and it's not gonna be that loud, obnoxious fragrance like some fragrances are, which, there's a time and place for those, but this one, it does sit a little bit more close to the skin. So overall, awesome fragrance. Well done, Ross, on this, man. This is an awesome fragrance. Thank you so much, Ross and George, for doing this. It does mean a lot. And man, what else can I say? This stuff is just amazing. So that's it, guys. That's kind of my full thoughts and review over business over pleasure. If you haven't grabbed it, guys, you guys need to get it. This is limited edition. Once they're out, they are out. They're not doing this anymore. They are gone. So definitely get your nose on this. Get you a sample, even if you can, and I can almost guarantee you're gonna like it. So that's gonna do it, guys. Be sure and comment down below if you smell these, if your packages are on the way. If you haven't ordered yet, do you plan on it? Open up the comment section. We will talk about this. Be sure and give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And guys, I'm gonna catch you next time. And remember, if you love it, wear it.